medical doctor with over 15 years experience in private practice, an MBA graduate since 2013. Ladies and gentlemen, please have. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's put our hands together as we welcome Dr. Bindume.
I'm actually an interior decorator. That's my actual profession. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Denico, thank you for this great event. And the title is just perfect, New Era Women. And thank you to each and everyone for being here, and to the speakers that I have heard. I arrived a bit late, so I didn't hear everybody else, but thank you for your presentation. It's a nice supplement. I guess you're a strategist. You chose well. You put your program well together. So we're supposed to play a video that was going to be about, it's a poem that I did. I wrote it in 2010 it's titled A Woman with Many Colors. So we're struggling to play it, but I want to just quickly read it because it's going to just set the tone for what we're going to discuss. I'm just improvising quickly because I didn't really know that it wasn't going to play, so I want to read it manually. Since 2010, I'm actually very, very shy, but it doesn't look like that. And the more I talk, I also challenge myself to make it lighter for myself and for those that will be listening and watching what I'm saying. So I found the poem. Okay, it's titled Women of Many Colors. Am I welcome to walk, Denico?
Yes, definitely.
That's how I manage my stress. Not that I like walking. Okay. Woman of many colors. She's neither black nor white. She's neither of the extreme colors. I have a specific interest in allowing people to connect to their souls, because you will not heal until you know where your pain comes from. People are in pain. We are in pain. All the other things are just by the way it looks nice, but the core of each and every challenge is pain. So if we were to just be superficial and just say, okay, let's talk about this one to perform, and we know there's a lot of programs now, today's special because it's a new era woman, there's a lot of programs around women empowerment. But the gap there is we're never really educated. What is this women empowerment? What does it really mean? So most of us really take women empowered for what it is, that the woman is empowered. The woman is in power. But what does it mean further when a woman is in power? And remember, power is very intoxicating for anyone. Unregulated power, power that was not prepared for, it's very dangerous. And the danger is going to be determined by the function. So depending on what your function is, that's where we see the signs of the dysfunction of whatever that you interpreted that to be. So, for example, we are women mainly today here. The function of a woman, the purpose of the woman, despite what you hear about how powerful you are, how intelligent you are, what you can do, the degrees we have, the positions we hold, the children in the family. We must never be fooled by what we can do compared to the purpose of a woman. A man cannot take care of children. We cannot. So yes, we can talk about the opportunities, about our capabilities, and there's no competition in actual fact. And somehow we're also made to believe that we are competing. But in other contexts, yes, you are in competition depending on the environment and what you want to achieve, because you're not working in isolation. But when you get to the core and understand your function, then you realize that there's no competition in the first place. There was never competition in the first place. So we have women empowerment. We have programs for women empowerment. And initially it was probably a good thing, because things are not totally bad, totally good. There's always context of how things happen. eventually it has evolved to being a toxic environment where women are so empowered. And then we're focused on empowering who? The girl child. What about your boy? Is it not a child anymore?
Sure.
We complain and we're crying about gender-based violence. Whose child is this man? Whose child is this man who has become the devil today? If you remember that each and every child was born pure, pure. There's no child who is born evil to say, this one is an evil child. I've never experienced that so far. I mean, when we're in the delivery room, all you see, you just see a small little person, totally vulnerable and dependent on you. You will decide how this child will experience the world. It's your decision. The power is yours. But then it depends what is the priority for you and when. There is no man who is in prison today, nor a woman who is in prison today, who was emailed to prison. That person was created. The monster in that person was created. So this is where women need to have that work-life integration. I call it work-life integration. But at the core really is about getting to, because remember, I deal with both men and women. There is no women's world, men's world, which you are full in. That is not real. In real life, which is what I deal with, because you can say something here, but then in private you go to your doctor and you talk the truth about your life. So what you might say here, like, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, and then after hours, you go to your doctor. At night, you cannot sleep without drinking yourself to sleep. And that is a private victory. That is a private victory that no one is coming to save you from.
Yeah.
So we need to be having more conversation of saying, who is fighting for the black family? Because yes, people are fighting for women empowerment. And in whose interest is it now that this thing is institutionalized like this? That women are being pushed higher, higher, more power, more power, more power. Keep in mind, depending on your life cycle, your reproductive life cycle, where you are, if you take up that position when your child is still in their most vulnerable, sensitive state, where they're developing and they depend on you so that you can predict how they'll experience their life, their future. And then this child has to compete with the position, with the degree. Remember, this is the reality that we're living in. And a child, every child, science now is finally accepting what God has said all along.
Yeah.
Teach a child in my ways,
Come on.
so that even as they grow, they will not depart from that. What does that even mean? It means even if you die, your child must be able to remain alive without causing harm and be productive where they are and bring life where they are and not take life. So there's nothing wrong about power. We are powerful beyond measure. We are the greatest leaders, greatest managers. But the question is, when are you going to take up that position? Can you delay some of this growth until your children have at least passed that sensitive place? I mean, the highest, I want to just highlight the function of a woman as a national. I don't want to forget the ways, because I think we miss it a lot. Because we're being told all the other things that are not our nature, but that are our capabilities. But what is your nature? Because your nature is your power. What is your nature? The woman is a nature to a child. I'm talking in the context of a child. In the most sensitive times of their lives, which is up to 7 years, but we still have a chance between 7 and 12.
Yeah.
But beyond 12 years, the child will only produce what was recorded, nothing new. By the time you're asking questions today, why your child is on drugs today, why your child is in abusive relationships today, even yourself, I'm saying child, but remember you're a child yourself. You are living that yourself today. So the questions that I'm asking for your child is the questions that you had for yourself at some point.
Yeah.
But you are only a product of your environment. Somebody predicted how you'll experience this life without your permission. There's no child who gives a parent permission to say, give me an experience of there's no child who makes such decisions.
Yeah.
For the first 7 years, Children only absorb. So science has proven what the Bible has said. So what if you knew that? What would you change? Wouldn't you change it?
Yeah.
Of course you would change it if you knew. But how many of us know? And have you ever thought about, I don't know, for the scientists, because you are a scientist, I know when it comes to research. Do we have research in terms of comparing white women and black women in terms of their participation in their early childhood? Because I see a lot. I was watching yesterday, and I watch all the time that, during the mornings and during the day, most black women are not really available. They're in the office. They're in the office, in the positions of power, and all of that. But the white women are with their kids. Why are all the black women in the office? What is it that they know that we don't know? And yet we are so hungry to go up there. And they are okay. They're not, most of them are actually educated. But they are aware about something about dealing their kids at certain times. And black people don't know that. We are made to be hungry for power. We are made to be hungry for those positions. We are made to be hungry for that influence and impact. But who are you impacting? Who's your primary person that you should impact? So your area of influence must always start within before you do outside. I can tell you about a lot of examples, but I don't have to go there. About people who influence more people, masses further. If you look back to their own families, their children are suffering. They have mental health, serious mental health problems, serious addiction problems, but the world is praising this person. The world is proud. The world thanks this person. But their own family says, we have no father, we have no mother. So we have power out there, but no power in here. But then who's going to save your child? So of course, then, like in every battle, there will be injuries. And our children, some of our children will be the sacrifice, so that we can save the masses, so that we can be the influencers, so that we can be the first woman too. The first woman too. And there's nothing wrong with the first woman too. But when we know, then we delay, we postpone, and say, let me prioritize this phase in my child's life because it's not coming back again. But once this is out, it's time for leadership. That's what I've written about in the book, Real Life in Business Mind, a bit of perspective on women empowerment. There's nothing wrong with power. There's nothing wrong with progress. But when are you going to do it? Because if you miss that part in your child's life, the Bible says that your child, who you did not alter and grow in his ways, is going to punish you. Your own child is going to be your enemy. And not only to you, the sacrifice that you are making with your child for the world, the same child that you sacrificed is going to make the world its victim. Because we missed an opportunity. I just want to quickly say, for a natural as a mother, the reason why you should be there physically, you're not the Holy Spirit. You have to be there. And you also know when it comes to investigate, it sounds funny, but it's real. Because sometimes, when you have money, you just download Telepass, you download Crash, you download boarding school, because you can afford it, you send the child there. But guess what? No one will ever do your job. No one. So I want to tell you, while I'm there, the high-risk areas that most parents miss because you do not know. The high-risk areas that happen purely because of your absence. Absence is not only physical. There's physical absence and spiritual absence. So sometimes you are physically kind of there, but you are so spiritually disconnected that you cannot pick up danger that is surrounding your child. You cannot discern that you need to save your child and pray for your child. Defend your child. Sometimes it takes practically, you take your child's phone away to save your child. Sometimes it means going to those friends and saying, stop coming to my child. Not my child. You tell whoever who's temporarily that your child's soul to stop with your child. Not with my child. This child is a gift from God, and I am divinely given the money to protect this child, to nurture this child. This child will give birth to everything that they have with this God provides each child with fullness. No one lacks anything in this world. You are born complete, but it's only your environment and lack of knowledge that is creating devils. We call them devils. But that is somebody's child. With the Spirit of God still living. The Spirit of God lives in each and every body. The Spirit of God lives, but the battle is between the Spirit and the body. But who has empowered this child to fight the battle, even in your absence? If you miss that opportunity, it's not coming back again. So with my work, I cannot give you medicine until you understand where your pain comes from. Until you understand why you keep making the same decisions. Until you understand why do you keep choosing the wrong people all the time. Until you understand why can you not control yourself. Until you understand all of that, there's no medicine that will help you, but medicine will help you once you connect with the Spirit of God that is powerful and almighty and all present in you, and the medicine will lift up that body so that your spirit can rise. You will give life, you will receive life, but you will not receive life until you have accepted life. Accepting life also means healing, understanding, letting go, trying new things. But medicine has a place once you've connected with the truth. There's only one truth. There is only one truth. God has created everybody the same, and until you connect to that, you are wasting your time. You'll keep fighting the same battle every day. You'll keep losing the money. You'll keep moving from one failed relationship to another. All your children will just keep struggling, and there's nothing wrong with those children. You just didn't have knowledge of that. You are supposed to be there and pray for these children and physically guide these children, guide them. So as a nurturer, your job is to affirm the child. How do you affirm the child? You cannot affirm a child over the phone. You have to look your child in the eyes and say, you are enough, you are good, you're going to be okay, I'm here. Children get nightmares all the time. Most parents, you are so exhausted and fatigued, you can't even pick it up. Then they'll find something to console themselves. Safety. A children feel safe with touch and eye contact. How many of us are actually conscious and aware that you must look your child in the eyes, especially from the beginning, but it's never too late. Even where you are, you can still do what you can do and say to your child, my child, I know you suffered today, but it's because of the things I didn't know before. But I know today. And because of what I know today, I want you to create better in the future. And because of what I know today, this is what you're going to do different from today. Correction. You cannot correct a child if you're not there. How are you going to see? And because you feel guilty for never being home, you avoid correcting the child. You keep giving them money. You keep telling them to do whatever they want to do because you are guilty. You know, somehow you know, your spirit knows. You're supposed to be attending to this child. There's no man or nanny who will attend to your child. That spirit has to be guarded by the one who gave birth to it because it's connected to your womb, to your gut. You cannot transfer that gift, the responsibility. Teaching. You cannot teach a child anything else other than values and morals. And values and morals, whether you are biblical or not, values and morals just means teach the child to be responsible for themselves and for others and never to cause harm, but to give life. Those are morals. Surveillance, very important. So surveillance means you must always be monitoring the environment that your child exists in. Those environments, I have to mention, yes, I wrote it here. Those environments, those high-risk environments that exist, whether in our physical absence or in our physical and spiritual absence, includes our helpers, boarding schools, sleepovers, the internet, relatives, siblings, older siblings, neighbors, visitors. You're relaxing, you're drinking your glass of wine, your friends' children are there. I have so many patients as adults and as children who report. This only happens when you're not surveilling your child's environment. I have so many 3-year-olds, 5-year-olds, 8-year-olds that were their privacy, their innocence was taken by one of these people. And you trusted them like, oh, she's a woman like me. She'll never cause harm. Help us show our children pornography. Children, help us molest your children. Visitors, girl to girl, they do what they have seen somewhere also, they do to your child. Your child will never recover from that. They might not know that is wrong, but your spirit knows. That's why every child that is born, because of the Spirit of God lives in them, it can discern. And that will be recorded in the brain as damage forever. So by the time 12 years, so we only start seeing signs officially from 12 years old going up. What are those signs that I deal with practically? Because sometimes it sounds so far-fetched that you don't understand that the spirit and the body are one. You cannot separate them. So as a doctor, you will come and you say, as an adult, painful sex, your periods are messed up, you're struggling with weight, you can't sleep, bad relationships, one after the other. In the work, imposter syndrome, dysfunctional relationships there again with your children or your spouse. Substance abuse, because remember, substance abuse is being so normalized these days, it's fashionable. But let me tell you a secret. You will not be able to connect to anything that distorts the clarity of your mind if there's no pain deep down. So what I mean is, even if somebody say, try this alcohol, try this drug, try anything that tampers with your clarity of your mind. If you don't have a deep pain, remember, nobody's perfect, but there's a level of pain that is dysfunctional.
Yeah.
So that level of pain is the one that will tell you today that there was something that happened then. Other people are not aware until I say they come with a headache, until I take them back all the way when they remember that they were actually sexually assaulted. Long time ago, and nobody knew, nobody suspected. The perpetrator said 1, 2, 3. And remember, this is the extreme abuse. Other abuse is just you not being present. That is a passive form of abuse. Just you not being present and guiding your child. That is a passive form of abuse. Because we always think that abuse is when somebody penetrates your child. But just neglecting to correct your child, to surveil, all the things that I said is abusing another form. Because the part of the brain, there's a part of the brain that is discovered that part is physically present, but it's only developed by the parents, especially the mother. A father cannot, that's why even if you're a single mother, it doesn't mean your child cannot be great. But you need to be a single mother who has knowledge. You'll still do better than somebody who has a child who has a father and a mother, but who are not conscious, who are not present. They have all the money, but they are not present. So being single or losing a partner that you are left just you and your child doesn't mean the child has any less chances. Because one of your responsibilities is to get role models for your children. So if there's no father, get somebody who's responsible, a father figure. I know. I know. But the Spirit says yes. I'm almost done. This is life changing. Even if there's anything, just know that God created everybody perfectly. And there is medication. I always say that because most people don't know. Beyond your trauma, therapy is not enough. Going to therapy is not enough. There's medication that you need to get to physically alter the part of your brain that is traumatized. Because otherwise you keep attracting the same energy all the time because nothing has changed. Your subconscious mind will only play what was recorded long time ago, and there's nothing you can change today. You are only experiencing what was already created within you by your environment long time ago. But the medication, what it does, it interrupts the pathway of playing the same record every single day and tormenting you. That you always need mind-altering things so that you can rest a little bit from your pain. Just rest and forget a little bit. So even if somebody offers you this, but you don't have deep pain, you won't be addicted to this, you won't feel like doing it again. But once you see a form of addiction, it just reflects that substance is attending to a deeper pain within you. There's no one who keeps drinking alcohol and taking this and that if it's not addressing something. So that part of the brain, if it's not developed, one of the weaknesses is addictions. I can go on and on, but I hope I have said something, and I'm saying again, there's nothing wrong with power. There's nothing wrong with power, but when?
Yeah.
Thank you.